Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. Look, if you're anything like me, you are constantly doing this crazy high wire juggling act every single day. You've got the family demands, the epic bedtime battles, a career, and then somewhere buried in that chaotic mix, your own personal goals and ambitions. Finding time management solutions as a busy parent, yeah, that isn't just a nice to have, it's literal survival. So today, we're exploring this really fascinating framework from Sam Salfoli. She's the founder of the Growth Collective, and she talks all about building a family first income in what she perfectly calls borrowed moments. Let's get into how we can actually make real progress when time is, well, our absolute scarcest resource.
Picture this for a second and tell me if it sounds familiar. The source material starts with this quote. It's 10 p.m. as I'm writing this, and really, I almost didn't. I mean, haven't we all been exactly there? The house is finally quiet, you're just exhausted to your core, and the absolute last thing on earth you want to do is open up a laptop. You might not even be a night owl, but the day just completely got away from you. This is the hard reality of trying to build something while raising a family, right? It's built in these late night, super low energy margins.
So, Section 1, Surviving the Chaotic Week. Because let's be honest, almost every week feels unpredictable when you have kids. You can plan and prep all you want, but reality has a way of throwing those plans right out the window, leaving you running completely on empty. To show you just how much we are all in the trenches together here, the author shares this incredibly specific, painful anecdote. I forgot it was PJ day at school. Her son had been asking about it for weeks, and she just completely missed the mark. Oof. As a parent, that gut punch of forgetting a fun school event, that is so real. It's exactly the kind of day that makes you want to just throw your hands up, succumb to the mom guilt, and say, you know what, I'll just work on my goals tomorrow. It is so incredibly easy to let the chaos win. And honestly, this brilliantly illustrates the trap that so many of us fall into. We are constantly waiting for that perfect, mythical, wide-open Saturday to finally make progress on our goals. But the reality? That perfect day simply doesn't exist. We have to learn how to use a Monday night borrowed moment when we are literally running on fumes. We need a plan that works, not in ideal conditions, but in our actual, messy, everyday reality.
Which brings us to Section 2, Rethinking Your Borrowed Moments.
Okay, this requires a massive mindset shift. We have to completely redefine what a lack of time actually means when you're a busy parent. Because it's not about magically creating a 25th hour in the day, it's about changing our relationship with the minutes we do have. The source points out something crucial. When we say, I don't have enough time, what we usually really mean is that we haven't built the system that makes the small pockets of time actually count, especially when your brain is totally fried. Think about it. If you sit down at 10 p.m. and you have to spend 20 minutes just figuring out what you're supposed to be doing, you've already lost. The system is the secret sauce here. Now, you might be wondering, okay, but is 20 to 30 minutes actually enough time to get anything done? Well, actually, scratch that. Is it enough time to get the right things done? The answer from the source material is a resounding yes. But there is a catch. It is absolutely enough time, but only if you know exactly what you're doing the very second you sit down. You can literally move mountains in 30 minutes if your system has already paved the way for you.
All right, Section 3, Beating the Blank Page.
Let's tackle public enemy number 1 for tired creators and entrepreneurs. How do we beat the dreaded blank page when our brains are totally fried? You know, how do we bypass that 2-hour overthinking spiral when it's super late, the house is completely dark, and we have zero mental capacity left? Well, let's look at the specific framework that solves this. This framework relies on 3 really simple yet incredibly effective steps. Step 1, build a content idea bank. Honestly, this is just a running list on your phone. When a thought hits you at 6 a.m. while you're half awake making coffee or maybe mid-toddler meltdown, you just log it immediately. That way, by the time you actually sit down, the idea is already there waiting for you. Step 2, use AI. But, and this is key, not to write for you. Use it as a sounding board to ask you questions and kind of pull the content out of your head. And step 3, prepare smaller chunks. Have your posts, your reels, or your emails already mapped out so you are never, ever starting from scratch. You're just refining and hitting publish. I've got to say, this is absolutely my favorite takeaway from this entire explainer. The thinking happens in advance, so the doing can happen in the margins. That right there is the magic formula.
The heavy lifting, the ideation, the structuring, that all gets sprinkled throughout your chaotic day in tiny 5-second bursts. So when you finally get that 20-minute borrowed moment at night, you aren't thinking, you're just pressing go.
Moving on to Section 4, Small Steps for Beginners.
Now, if you're listening to this and feeling a little overwhelmed, take a deep breath. The goal here isn't to build some massive, complex corporate workflow. We are looking for actionable, low-barrier strategies that you can start executing tonight, even if your kids completely refuse to eat dinner. First up, start way smaller than you think. Just don't overcomplicate it. Next, simply create one running list on your phone. Boom, that alone is a system. Then establish one repeatable step that you do the exact same way every single week. The whole goal is to build a setup so incredibly simple that you'll actually use it on the hard days. When life throws a surprise PJ day your way, your system needs to act as a reliable lifeline, not just another chore on your to-do list.
And that brings us to a radical redefinition of a word we hear all the time: consistency. For us busy parents, consistency does not mean doing the same thing every single day in perfect conditions. No way. It means having a system to fall back on when your day inevitably goes completely sideways. It ensures that the chaos of family life doesn't just take your business or your personal goals down with it. It's your safety net.
If you're looking for a space where parents are actually putting these margin-saving systems into practice, the source material points us right to Sam Sulfarley's community, the Growth Collective. It's a free community dedicated entirely to moms and parents who are out there building flexible, family-first income in those exact margins of everyday life we've been talking about. They absolutely prove that you don't need to wait for the right time to start.
So as we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with one final provocative question to think about. What will you build in your next borrowed moment? Because the time is there, right? It's hiding in plain sight between the school drop-offs and the bedtime stories. And now that you know the secret is simply building a system to capture it, the possibilities are entirely up to you. Get that phone list started tonight, and I'll catch you on the next explainer.